So when we consider hydrogen as a fuel or hydrogen as a source of energy, we generally categorize hydrogen using color-coded names. And we have chosen these names based on the source of production of hydrogen, or the way we obtain that hydrogen. So, and this is what we are going to talk about in this video. So, which is different types of hydrogen. So I'm going to write down few things here quickly, and then I will explain everything in detail. All right. So I have noted down all the different types of hydrogen, and they are named using different color. For example, we have green hydrogen, yellow hydrogen, pink, blue, gray, brown, white hydrogen, depending upon how we obtain these hydrogen or how we produce these hydrogens. Now let's discuss them one by one. We already have covered green hydrogen in great detail in our previous video. So, and you already know that green hydrogen is basically that hydrogen which we derive using electrolysis of water. And in that electrolysis process, we use electrical energy generated from either solar power or wind power. That means zero carbon emission, absolutely no carbon emission. All right. So green hydrogen is basically produced using electrolysis of water. This is produced using electrolysis of water. And this electrical energy comes from either solar or wind power, okay, to do this electrolysis. Now we have another type of hydrogen, which is we can say subset of green hydrogen, called yellow hydrogen. Now this hydrogen is also produced using electrolysis of water. However, specifically we use electrical energy generated from solar power in this case. So if electrical energy is generated from solar power to do electrolysis, then the hydrogen generated using electrolysis is called yellow hydrogen, right? So here also we are still using electrolysis of water. However, we use sunlight to generate electricity for electrolysis. So this is yellow hydrogen. We also have pink hydrogen, which is very close to green hydrogen. Here also there is almost zero carbon emission. The only thing is here also we use electrolysis. Still we are using electrolysis of water. But in this case, the electrical energy obtained to do electrolysis, that we generate using nuclear power. So now what is the difference between green and pink? So for green and yellow hydrogen, we are using renewable sources of energy to generate electricity. And for pink hydrogen, we are using actually nuclear power, which is non-renewable source of energy, right? Now, blue hydrogen is a different type of hydrogen, because the method of obtaining hydrogen or method of producing hydrogen here is slightly different. So we don't perform electrolysis of water to obtain hydrogen, that is blue hydrogen, right? So what we do here is the name of process is steam methane reforming, SMR. Okay, so steam methane reforming, or there is another name, or I mean another process that we use, autothermal reforming, which is ATR. So for blue hydrogen, you will have to remember these two names at least. Now, what is actually happening here is we use natural gas. Specifically for blue hydrogen, we use natural gas, and methane present in that natural gas is converted into hydrogen and carbon dioxide at higher temperature, right? And the process or the technique that we use to do this conversion is called steam methane reforming or autothermal reforming. Now, the reason why we are calling it blue hydrogen is because in this case, there is emission of CO2, right? So methane gets converted into hydrogen and carbon dioxide, but CO2 is not released in environment. So this CO2 we don't release directly in environment, but we capture and store it in underground facility. So this CO2 is captured and is stored in underground facilities. So CO2 is not getting released, therefore there is very less emission into the environment, and hence the name blue hydrogen. Now, what is gray hydrogen? Gray hydrogen is exactly similar to blue hydrogen. The only difference here is we don't capture and store CO2. CO2 is released into the atmosphere. So it has lots of environmental impact, and hence the name gray, right? So here also we use same method, but the only difference is CO2 is, we don't store CO2, CO2 is released. So in this case, here in gray hydrogen, CO2 is released. So released into the atmosphere. Now, brown or black hydrogen is that category of hydrogen where we don't use natural gas for the production of hydrogen. So apart from natural gas, if we are using any other fossil fuel, specifically coal, right, then that hydrogen is called black or brown hydrogen. So here what we use is coal. Now, depending upon the quality or type of coal, we can have brown or black hydrogen. So if we are using natural gas, then we can have these two categories of hydrogen. If we are using any other fossil fuel, then we have brown or black type of hydrogen. Specifically or generally, we use coal for this purpose. And at the end, we have white hydrogen. Now, this is very interesting type of hydrogen because this hydrogen is actually natural hydrogen. This is natural hydrogen. So basically, hydrogen which is produced naturally in the earth crust and somehow get trapped beneath the rock, then that hydrogen is called white hydrogen. So we don't produce this hydrogen. This is produced naturally. Right? There are few other names for this, like it is also known as gold hydrogen. So we have different names for white hydrogen: natural hydrogen, gold hydrogen, or geologic hydrogen. And this hydrogen is produced naturally because of geological activities happening inside or beneath our earth crust. In the earth crust. So what happens here is when iron rich rock reacts with water at very high temperature, then that produces hydrogen. And if that hydrogen somehow gets captured beneath rock, and if somehow we can find that hydrogen reserve, we can extract it, right? We can extract that hydrogen and we can use that hydrogen as fuel. So that is a pure natural form of hydrogen, and because it is naturally produced, we are not producing this hydrogen, hence cost of this hydrogen is very less. If we talk about in terms of cost of production, so green hydrogen is very costly as compared to white or brown or gray hydrogen, right? So these three, they are costly. These three, they are not so costly, right? So most of the hydrogen that we see in the market, which is used as a fuel, gray hydrogen. Now, because this is the most efficient and not efficient, but this is the most economical way of producing hydrogen.